Ndubisi heard their hurtful words and felt very sad. The villagers had betrayed him. Feeling hurt and angry, Ndubisi decided to stop the rain. He wanted to teach the villagers a lesson. The village of Amucha was a place of happiness and beauty. Green fields stretched as far as the eye could see, and tall trees provided shade and shelter. The villagers lived in peace and harmony, always helping each other. Among them was Ndubisi, a man with special power to call the rain. He wore simple clothes and had eyes that seemed to see everything. Ndubisi was loved by everyone in the village. He was not only wise but also kind. When the fields became dry and the crops began to wither, the villagers would go to Ndubisi. They would ask him to call the rain. Ndubisi would simply lift up his hands to the sky and sing a beautiful rain song. Soon, dark clouds would gather and rain would begin to fall, saving the crops and bringing joy to the people. But one day, something terrible happened. Some of the villagers had become greedy. They wanted more for themselves. They began to say bad things about Ndubisi, calling him an old cargo and a useless man. Ndubisi heard their hurtful words and felt very sad. The villagers had betrayed him. Feeling hurt and angry, Ndubisi decided to stop the rain. He wanted to teach the villagers a lesson they will never forget. Days passed. Soon, weeks had passed again, and the sun continued to shine brightly. The sky remained clear with no clouds in sight. The fields dried up, and the crops began to wilt. The villagers grew worried and hungry. They went to Ndubisi's hut and begged him to call the rain, but Ndubisi refused. He said, "You have hurt me. You must learn to respect me and care for each other again." The villagers left, feeling ashamed and sad, knowing they had made a grave mistake. The fields became so dry that the ground began to crack. The crops began to turn brown and the villagers had little food. The children cried from hunger and the elders grew weak. The villagers realized how much they actually needed Ndubisi and each other. They decided to make things right and sought Ndubisi's forgiveness. The villagers gathered in the village square to discuss how they could make amends. They decided to ask Ndubisi for forgiveness. They walked to his hut and knelt before him, saying, "Ndubisi, we are very sorry. We have learned our lesson. Bikonu, please forgive us. Please bring back the rain." Ndubisi looked at them, seeing their sadness and regret. He decided to think about their plea. Suddenly, one young boy named Emeka stepped forward. Emeka was kind and honest, and he cared for the village. He said, "Ndubisi, we are truly sorry. We will do anything to make it right. Please forgive us and bring back the rain." Ndubisi saw the sincerity in Emeka's eyes and knew he meant every word. Ndubisi nodded and said, "I forgive you." Ndubisi smiled and walked to the village square. The villagers followed him, watching. Ndubisi lifted his hands up and immediately began to sing. The villagers held their breath, praying for rain. Dark clouds gathered, the wind started to blow, and soon raindrops fell from the sky. The villagers cheered and danced, their joy returning as the rain fell. The rain fell for so many hours. Ndubisi and Emeka were thanked by the villagers. They had learned a valuable lesson and promised never to betray Ndubisi again. The village of Amucha thrived once more. The fields were green and the crops were abundant. The villagers worked together, sharing everything and being kind to each other. The children played happily and the elders were respected. Ndubisi watched over the village with a gentle smile. happy to see everyone united and joyful. Ndubisi grew older, and he chose a young boy named Chidi to be the next rainmaker. He taught Chidi the rain songs and how to talk to the clouds and wind. Chidi learned quickly and became a skilled rainmaker. When Ndubisi was too old to work, Chidi took over as the rainmaker. The villagers respected Chidi and trusted him. They knew that he had learned well from Ndubisi. Ndubisi's legacy lived on through Chidi. The village continued to thrive, and the rain came when needed. The villagers remembered Ndubisi's wisdom and respected the new rainmaker. A few years passed, and Chidi suddenly changed. He began to use his title as the rainmaker of the land to bully innocent people. He would threaten the villagers to give him whatever he requested or wanted, or he would cease the rain permanently. Out of fear, they would obey, but over time, they became fed up, and the villagers began to take Chidi for granted. They started to disrespect him. They thought to themselves, "We don't need a rainmaker like him anymore." After all, Ndubisi, the respectable rainmaker, is still alive and kicking. They believed if Chidi refused to give them rain for an extended period of time, they would simply go and report him to Ndubisi and beg, and they are so sure that Ndubisi will surely be glad to restore the rain. Chidi felt hurt because of this, just like Ndubisi had felt before. Chidi became angry and decided to teach the villagers a lesson. He stopped calling the rain, and the land started becoming dry again. The villagers were worried and did not understand why the rain had stopped. Chidi's anger grew, and he began to desire more power. He wanted to take Ndubisi's place completely before the villagers would go to beg him. He thought that if Ndubisi was gone, he would be the only rainmaker, and everyone will have no choice but to respect him. Chidi came up with a plan to get rid of Ndubisi. He decided to kill Ndubisi and take his place. He thought no one would find out and he would be the most powerful man in the village. One night, Chidi went to Ndubisi's house with a knife. He was ready to kill Ndubisi in his sleep, but Ndubisi was wide awake and waiting. He had sensed something was wrong. Ndubisi stopped Chidi and asked him, "Why do you want to kill me? What have I done?" "I want your power. I want to be the only rainmaker alive," Chidi yelled. Ndubisi was sad and angry that greed had taken over his once beloved student. Ndubisi was old but not powerless. His powers still had the ability to protect him. He took Chidi's rain-making ability, which he had given him. He said, "You do not deserve to be a rainmaker. You are greedy, and you have no respect." Chidi was left powerless and ashamed. Ndubisi knew he needed to find a new rainmaker. He needed someone who was kind and respected the power of the rain. He began to search the village for a worthy person. Ndubisi found that same young boy who had begged on the village's behalf, named Emeka. Emeka was kind and hardworking. He always helped his family and the villagers. Ndubisi saw goodness in him. Ndubisi immediately started to train Emeka. He gave him the rain-making power. He taught him the rain songs and how to talk to the clouds and the wind. Emeka learned quickly and respected Ndubisi's teachings. Ndubisi knew his time was coming to an end, and on his deathbed, he called the villagers and announced Emeka as the new rainmaker. He said, "Respect him and he will bring you rain." The villagers respected Emeka and followed his guidance. Emeka brought rain and the villagers prospered. They never forgot Ndubisi and always remembered the lessons of respect and humility. Emeka took his new role seriously. He listened to Ndubisi's teachings and respected the power of the rain. The villagers trusted him and worked together to care for their crops. Under Emeka's guidance, the village of Amucha prospered. The crops grew well and the people lived in harmony. Although the villagers forgave Chidi for his betrayal, They never trusted him again as they did before. Chidi lived in solitude, reflecting on the mistakes and consequences of his greed. Ndubisi passed away peacefully in his sleep. The villagers mourned his loss deeply. They remembered him as the wise and kind rainmaker who has always cared for their well-being. As the new rainmaker, Emeka faced many challenges. He had to learn to listen to the clouds and understand the signs of nature. He prayed to the gods for guidance and wisdom. Chidi watched from afar as the village thrived under Emeka's leadership. The villagers respected and admired him, but Chidi watched from afar as the village thrived under Emeka's leadership. As years passed, Chidi's envy towards Emeka grew stronger. He watched as Emeka earned the respect and admiration of the villagers. Chidi's heart burned with jealousy, and he plotted to steal Emeka's power, believing that Emeka had stolen what belonged to him. One night, Chidi sneaked into Emeka's hut while he was sleeping. He thought he could steal Emeka's rainmaking powers and become the village's hero since he was but a young man. He was filled with greed and did not care about the consequences. Chidi tried to take Emeka's power by force, but the spirits protecting the rain-making ability were strong. Emeka woke up and fought back with all his strength. The struggle woke the villagers and they rushed to see what was happening. When the villagers saw Chidi trying to steal Emeka's power, they were shocked and angry. They had once forgiven him for his past mistakes, but now he had betrayed their trust again. They shouted and condemned Chidi for his greed and dishonesty. The village elders held a meeting to decide Chidi's punishment. They listened to Emeka and the witnesses who had seen what had happened. They knew they had to take action to protect the village and its traditions. After much deliberation, the elders decided to exile Chidi from the village. They said, "You have brought shame upon us, Chidi. You have disrespected and betrayed our traditions. You must leave Amucha and never return." Chidi felt deep regret for his actions. He realized that his greed and jealousy had led to his downfall. He begged for forgiveness, but the villagers were firm in their decision. Chidi left the village of Amucha with a heavy heart. He knew he could never undo the harm he had caused. As he walked away, he vowed to change his ways and seek redemption. Emeka continued to lead the village with humility and wisdom. He knew that forgiveness was important, but he also understood the need to protect the village from harm. The villagers respected him and even more for his strength and integrity. As Emeka grew older, he began to train a young boy named Obinna to be the next rainmaker. He passed down Ndubisi's teachings and traditions of the village. Obinna listened attentively and learned quickly. On his deathbed, Emeka gathered the villagers once again. He announced Obinna as new rainmaker and said, "Respect him as you respected me, and he will bring you rain." The villagers nodded solemnly, knowing they had been blessed with wise leaders. Obinna felt the weight of responsibility as he took over from Emeka. He knew he had big shoes to fill, but was determined to honor the legacy of Ndubisi and Emeka. The moral of this story is number 1. We should always be grateful for whatever position we find ourselves in life, because you never can tell whether it will be taken from you. Chidi was not appreciative of the fact that he was already a future rainmaker. He wasn't patient enough. He forgot that that position he held was just as important, and that is why he did what he did. Number 2, patience. If he had been a little bit patient to allow things to go the way they are supposed to be, he would definitely have been the rainmaker when Ndubisi dies of natural causes. Number 3, envy is terrible. Number 4, it's not good to be power hungry. It's not good to bully the weak. It's not good to misuse your power and be looking for how everybody will be beneath you. What other moral lessons did you learn from this particular story? Drop your comments below so that others can take note of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys.